Hello Zorgonians, welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we are here to talk about something that's kind of cool, and that's the fact that Watch Dogs 2 came out, and I pre-ordered it, and I know that's kind of a dumb move sometimes, especially with Ubisoft titles, but I loved Watch Dogs 1.
I've got footage of a junior
It wasn't perfect, and it wasn't really a gem, but it was good, okay? There were good things about it. Unlike a lot of Ubisoft haters, there were good things about Watch Dogs. And today we're going to be talking about my initial impressions, because I played it decently. I need to check exactly when, but I played it decently, like a decent amount. And I played it for about 15 hours, it looks like. So I can actually have an opinion on this. And my opinion is that Ubisoft kind of screwed the pooch on this one again. They hyped it a little bit too much. Even though they didn't really hype it all that much, there was a little bit too much hype about it, so I expected a little bit more, which I shouldn't have. But in the end, it's just like Watch Dogs 1. It is just like it, just a bit more refined. So, the problem with Watch Dogs 2 is that it's a good game. Gameplay-wise and mechanics-wise, it has solid mechanics, and honestly, the gameplay is a lot more compelling than it was in Watch Dogs 1 because it's a lot harder and a lot more dynamic. But then again, there is the fact that there are still some problems with some of the combat mechanics. For example, you can hack an enemy in the middle of combat to distract them, or right before they notice you, and you can easily just knock them out right there and then, and most of the time you won't even get noticed. Another thing is, I think the level designers didn't take into account how much people would be using the RC chopper or quadcopter and the RC jumper. And for example, today I was doing a mission to burn some crates on top of a boat. And the boat had like 4 or 5 levels, and around the 3rd or 4th level, there was no stairs. So the jumper couldn't go up there, and it couldn't interact with anything. So that's kind of a bummer. It ruined the entire immersion for me, because I was like getting really into the fact that I was dodging patrols and shit like that on the boat, and doing that. I think that the level designers didn't take into account a lot of times with RC. And that's fine. I mean, it kind of forces the player to actually get in and do some shit. But still, I really wish they would have taken, like, a lot more thought into it. Another thing about it is the fact that the checkpoints are absolute garbage. Like, sometimes you'll get a good checkpoint in some of the missions, but most of the time what you'll do is you'll go in, you'll break into a base, you'll get like half the objective done, it'll say that you're moving on to another semi-objective, you die, and then it puts you right back into the point where you gotta break in. And that kind of annoys me, because every fucking time I break in, you have to get the feel of the place, right? So I guess it makes sense that the checkpoints aren't very forgiving, but I had to replay multiple fortresses, like, at least 3 or 4 times, and I remember a few times with the more difficult places, I had to replay it 6 times, and I remember one time I just gave up and put the game down and played Overwatch, because it frustrates people to no end to keep playing the same fucking thing over and over again, knowing what to do and how to do it, but can't do it because of the fact that a lot of times, the melee system doesn't work as well as it should, and if you don't know, it's a lot similar to Watch Dogs 1. If you played that, you walk up, you press one button, you knock them out, takes a little bit longer if you're in stealth mode, shit like that. The problem with it, though, is that the hit markers for it are very small, in my opinion. So I remember a few times when I was going through the FBI place, the FBI's office, I would try to rush a certain guard that would come after I finished an objective. I would try to hit them, but I wouldn't be able to. Like, they would be... Like, I would jump over the cover by accident. I would accidentally press shift or something, and the free one would automatically start up and make me jump over. I would freak out, start spamming the melee button, but it wouldn't do it, and then I would just get shot to death. So that's a problem as well. But besides those things, I need to get into other reasons why this game is bad, and then we'll go into the good reasons why this game is good. again, I felt no connection to the characters. I'm not going to spoil anything. I hate spoilers, but one of the characters in the game, I'm not going to say if it's a main character, dies. And very similar to Clara in Watch Dogs 1, if you don't know what happens with Clara, you lose her, basically. And there's no emotional connection whatsoever to the characters. Like, it's kind of cool, it's a novelty. But it's like Ubisoft. You've been making games for so long. Can't you make a fucking character that is relatable and people can actually hook onto? For me, personally, I think they did a better job than in Watch Dogs 1 and many of their other games. Because you had characters that had flaws and shit like that. But again, they need to work on their character development, otherwise we're not going to give a shit when a character dies. We're just going to keep moving on. It's the same thing with what happens in anime, for example. If a character's not good, we don't care what happens when they die. And it kind of shows, because multiple times, like, in Watch Dogs 1 and in this game, a character will be in peril or will die, and we just won't give a shit. We just won't give a shit. Now, I'm not expecting Telltale Games fucking crying at the end of someone's death. I'm just expecting, like, maybe a bit more anger, you know. I actually had to force myself to get kind of angry to actually, like, get into the mindset after the character died, and I went on a rampage. But that was more of me trying to get into the mindset of the character, me trying to, you know, relate. But that's another problem. The characters just aren't... The voice acting is decent, but there's just something missing there. They're just not... They're not connecting with people, and that's evident. Because, I'll be completely honest, I didn't really feel any connection towards any of the characters. And one of the reveals of one of the characters was their appearance. And when you see their appearance, you're like, oh, okay, that's what he looks like. Cool, I guess. I don't fucking know. It just pisses me off that they did that. And I don't know. That's pretty much all the bad things I can think of off the top of my head. I also wish they would have expanded more on the antagonists. I haven't finished the game yet, obviously. But so far, one of the antagonists is like... a feminist fucking a third wave feminist stereotype strawman, just like right out of the fucking books of every internet famous person ever. And I actually liked her personality. She was a cunt, but like in a good way. She knew what she was doing. Also, there were flaws to her character. The flaw is that although she was a really fucking good hacker, she couldn't do shit in person. She would never confront anybody. And I like that character a lot, even though it was an antagonist. I wish they would expand a bit more on that. Okay, now let's move on to some of the good things that I can come off the top of my head, because I don't make scripts. So, one of the things that I really liked about this game is the choice. The choice. The ways you can go about things is cooler. Like, for example, during one of the side missions when you're hunting down, like, apostles of a religious group, you can, if you get certain abilities, you can basically send the police after individuals, and I did that. And I watched them get carted away and then hack their phones after they got dropped and shit like that, you know? So it's cool that there's more choices. Again, the choices don't seem too important, especially considering all the choices in Watch Dogs 1 we made didn't count for shit, because in the end, Ubisoft made the fucking choice for Watch Dogs 1's ending. So, you know what, it didn't fucking matter in the end anyway. So, that's, yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna rag on about that. Moving on, as I said earlier, the combat is much more enticing, if not a bit buggy. But it also, it encourages stealthiness, because unlike in Watch Dogs 1 and other games, you can't armor yourself up. You can't fucking put on plates and plates of Kevlar. It's just not possible in this game. So you have to either get the jump on your enemy, stay behind cover like a bitch, or be stealthy. Or better yet, send in an RC chopper or something to do the scouting for you, or do the operation for you so you don't have to risk your ass. Alright? So that's what I like about it, is that there's more choices to the combat. Okay. I like the fact that they added shooting to the driving, and I mean, it took most of the open world genres to figure this out until 2005. I mean, it took a few years. In fact, even Grand Theft Auto San Andreas didn't have that. But you know, whatever. It's okay. So now, like the car combat is actually much more in depth. There's actually more to do, and I gotta say, it's way more difficult to actually get away from people. You have to be quick. You have to be fast. You have to be fucking swarthy, as Marcus would say. And you have to do it like on the snap, because I remember multiple times I actually just would give up during car chases, let them kill me, and then go about it a different way. Because if you fuck up during one of these chases, you're dead. Like, that's the consequence right there. You're fucking dead. And as I said, checkpoint systems aren't too fucking forgiving, so you're probably going to be sent back a few objectives. So you have to... It rewards perseverity, and it rewards, like smartness, essentially. So, what I was trying to get across through this video is, again, I personally think that it's a good game. It's a good game. I am actually enjoying this. They made side missions a hell of a lot more fun. They made everything a lot more fun besides the main story. The main story still gives out the most XP, and it still gives the most compelling story. But at the very least, when you're not doing story missions, you don't feel like you're just in a fucking rat cage going on those fucking wheels over and over. At least it's fun. See, this is the problem with games. If it's fun, I don't care how repetitive the game is, personally. I'll notice that it's repetitive, but if it's fun, I could give a shit. As Jacksepticeye said about Mad Max, and my personal opinion on it, is although it gets super repetitive and you can't play it for too long of a burst, it is fun. It's a fun game, and that's all that matters about a game. And that's a broad statement, but you know what I mean. Okay, so besides that, I'm trying to think of other things that I really liked about this game. I like the customization. I like the fact that they expanded on that. I also like the nods to the previous game. I like how they're incorporating a lot of different things. One thing I didn't like about the profile is how less detailed it was. Like, for example, instead of showing their age, their occupation, their income per year, and a little tidbit, it shows a little bit less. I don't know why they chose to do that. I would expect more. Like, maybe, like, I remember hearing rumors before Watch Dogs 2 came out for the consoles that the profiler was gonna show people's emotions, their heart rate, like, shit like that. Now, I don't know if they'll do a Watch Dogs 3. I'm certain they will. But Ubisoft, please fix the profiler. Make it more detailed. Make looking into the profiler interesting, for Christ's sakes. Because, I mean, I personally love listening to the audio logs and the text and watching and reading the text. But most people don't. So you gotta catch their eyes with those profiler tags. Like, that's the best way to get people to like the extra stuff you put in, even though some of it's kind of ass. I also like how immediately you can tell that their outlook from Watch Dogs 1 changed. Because if you don't know, the developers for Watch Dogs 1 weren't trying to send a message. They weren't. They were just trying to make a game. I immediately noticed a difference between Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2's outspec.
Let's wreck his world.
Outlook, I meant. And that's that. It's more of a preachy kind of game in a way. It immediately tackles issues like pedophilia, drug rings, corruption in the government, corruption in the oligarchic states, corruption in the police force, corruption everywhere. And it tackles even privacy issues that everyone has to deal with. And it does it in such a fucking good way, even though it's a bit blunt and a bit repetitive. It's still good. And that's my #1 opinion about Watch Dogs 2. Now, I am going to be doing a gameplay video of it, but I just wanted to, get my first impressions out. I think, personally, you should probably buy this game. It's pretty good. And real quick, I'm just going to go over the online aspect. I personally didn't really get too much into it. It seems more biased towards the Defender. honestly, it seems biased that way, because if you have a fucking drone, you're gonna find the person that's trying to hack you in like 20 seconds.
Okay, what was I saying?
And even though I didn't go after him, I probably could have gone after him, and I could have probably killed him. It's really, most of the time what will happen is someone will try to hack you, you'll fucking identify them, and then they'll just run the fuck away, and they get the most points out of that. So, I don't know, I didn't really get too much into the online aspect. Anyways, if you have the extra money, I definitely think that this is worth it, so you should pick that up. Also, I'll be uploading this immediately, but there are more stuff to come. I still got the weekly uploads going. I think I got it up to December something, December 4th, December something.
Did you get all that?
I'm probably not going to be doing too much because I want to focus on school. I want to focus on everything. So, anyways, put down in the comment section, what is your opinion about Watch Dogs 2? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? If you played it. If not, tell me what kind of games you're getting for Christmas and shit. Anyways, guys, see you later.